So many good people in Mississippi making it happen. Now joining us, the one, the only, J.T. Williamson himself. Morning there, J.T. Thanks so much for joining us. Palmer Home for Children Radiothon. I know that's always one of your favorite days on the program.
Man, it's hard to believe it's been 9 years, Gerard. That's just unbelievable that we've been doing this for 9 years. And think about the millions of dollars that have been raised, or close to it anyway, the money that's been raised for these kids. And, it's what I stress all the time, Gerard, is we keep these family units together. If it's a sibling unit, they stay together at the Palmer home, which is so important, man. There's only really two things you got in your life. You got God, and you got your family.
Yeah.
And without your family, that's, and if your family's broken, like a lot of these kids are, all they have are their siblings. And that's so important for them to keep them together, which has always been a goal of the Palmer home for children. And I really would love it if people would donate today. It's so very important. And they do the Lord's work. They don't take private money. I mean, they don't take government money. They take private money so we can keep these kids centered around God, which is so important in all our lives.
662-469-5533, supertalk.fm/Palmer Home. So, JT, what about the Education Support Fund? Tell us about that, man.
Well, man, they sprung that on me last year, Gerard.
Yeah.
They didn't tell me anything about it. They sprung that on me last year. That was
introduced
right after
last year, right?
Yeah. I started into this journey. By the way, y'all can see my bald head on TV if you watch.
We see it. We see it.
It's coming on in pretty good right now. No, I'm just kidding. They sprung that on me last year, Gerard, and that's the hardest thing I've ever done to keep my composure on the air, for them to do the scholarship educational fund in my name, to keep these kids. They, no matter what age they get them, they're not going to take them and get them and just, okay, you're done here, you got to go, because we got to make room for somebody else. That's not the way this works at the Palmer home. They're going to take these children. Now remember, these are children that have to do the things that they're asked to do to be able to continue to go and further their education, even through high school, junior high, whatever it may be, or even into JUCO or even 4-year. But these children, these kids have to follow along with the protocols and the guidelines that are set out for them, with their grades and how much that they do, what they do and how far along they go, and for them to be able to move forward into the educational fund. So I think that's the neat thing, is that there's a lot of goals that are set for these children to make them, do better than I did in high school. I can assure you that, and to make them productive citizens and educated. And that's what that's all about. And it helps them. They're not making room for the next crew. They're taking these kids all the way through to put them back in society so they can give back. And that's what's neat about it, is they always seem to come back to the Palmer home and give back.
And so the Palmer home, as you know, they have endowments that generally cover the tuition, but it's all the other out-of-pocket costs, and that's really where the J.T. Williamson Education Support Fund comes in. It covers books, computers, lab supplies, tutors, transportation, et cetera. And that fund kicked off with a $27,500 matching gift. And any gift made through the duration of the show today will be doubled up to $27,500 by the Palmer Homes Board for the J.T. Williamson Education Support Fund.
Just got a text from a dear friend who said they were donating a couple $100 in my name, and that's where that'll go today when you do that. And I appreciate that. I appreciate them doing that for me. And you can do that. Look, here's the key. It doesn't matter where you donate. Just donate. If it's $10 or $10,000 or $100 or $1,000, every little bit's going to help. And I can't stress to you enough, and I mean this, and it goes back to the very first time I was there. As I'm sorry, I got a house full of folks here right now, but it goes back. Well, long story. I'll tell you later. But it goes back to what I said before. Is they keep these kids in a Christian environment. And I say this every year. Don't let me overdo my time now. But
yeah, we got you.
When I first went to Palmer Home for the very first annual one, I was expecting a very, not a dark place, but a depressing place, like an orphanage. Like
right.
These kids were going to be, I'm stuck here and I'm unhappy. And man, they rang that dinner bell at the old campus in Columbus, and it was like ants coming out of an anthill, running up there to get food, eat their lunch, and every kid was smiling. They were happy. They were hugging each other. It's a happy place where these kids are loved, and they're given an opportunity and taken away from some very bad situations. Lots of times by maybe a grandparent that saw the parental situation was bad. Or maybe it was a situation where it could have come from, no matter where it came from, they were removed from a bad situation into a good situation, into a home with a house mother and a house father and a bunch of brothers and sisters that make them happy. And it's this whole child initiative. It's just a wonderful thing. And I ask if you get a chance to donate today, folks, even if it's just a little bit. They can set you up on a recurring thing. Take $30 a month from you, $20 a month from you. What's $20? You can't hardly go. Inflation like it is, you can't go eat lunch for $20 anymore. And so do that if you could, just once a month. Get set up like that, and they keep you up to date, and you can keep up to date with what's going on with these children. And it's a very rewarding thing, something that I look forward to every year. And these kids, getting them in a position, getting them where they can lead a healthy and happy life.
Gotcha. So, Drake, what does this J.T. Williamson Education Support Fund mean?
Well, JT, it's so great to see you. I've got this great band on my wrist right here that says "Prayers for JT," and
thank you, man.
And you bet, you're in our prayers, and couldn't have said it better. I think JT captured it. You come onto the campus and you find out that these kids are thriving and that they're happy, but he's right about education. How it's so important that these kids overcome whatever deficiencies are there and that we help see them through. So this fund helps us with these additional costs that are so important. Tutoring that's important, just day-to-day costs. But, seeing a child have the opportunity to get on top of their situation despite whatever that difficulty was and set themselves up to take a swing at the future makes all the difference in the world. That allows them a chance to break a cycle and get into a future that has promise. And as JT said, you got God and you got family. Well, for some of these children, they haven't had family, or family's coming apart, or we're going to work to keep it together, whatever. But we're going to be that family right now, and we're going to help with them. And we're going to bring God into the equation. We're going to introduce them to faith if they haven't had it, or we're going to double down on that faith if they've got it. And so we're going to work off those two things. So JT couldn't have said it better. And JT, we're just so grateful for I remember that first year when you came. And I remember you just kind of being taken back by, and when the dinner bell rang and they all came running, we all got a chance to be together and just celebrate. What a great day.
Wow. Well,
I'll never forget that, like kicking an anthill. Drake, I love you, brother. Thank you, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. Love you too.
Well, we got to go. JT, so good to see you and hear from you, my friend. Drake, thanks for joining us again.
Check in with you guys next week, okay?